When you want to climb the Mount Everest and you pack your suitcase with your shorts, sandals, sunscreen, and your sunglasses, I can already, with great certainty, already predict that you are not very likely going to reach the top. Hello, dear soul lady. Very glad to see you again here. And welcome to these coffee table conversations. And the conversation I would like to have with you today is about this metaphor of climbing a mountain. And I will come to that in a minute. First, let me be very clear who it is I'd like to speak with. Well, I am working with, you could say, accomplished women, soul-seeking women, age 40 plus, who, and I would like to describe them today, who experience situations or in their relationships certain returning or recurring patterns, like a kind of a theme or red thread throughout their lives. It happens probably very early on, and then it happened again, and again, and again, and again. And then they come to me and ask, why? These are the kind of women that I'm speaking with. So if what I've just presented is something that you feel and know this is not really applicable to me and that this doesn't resonate, please feel free to stay and to listen to what I'm about to share, because you might know someone who is kind of falling under the category I've just mentioned, all right? And what does it has to do with climbing a mountain? Let's say, for instance, again, looking at the clients I work with, that they come to me because they have a difficulty speaking up for themselves. They go along with what is asked of them, and they do the things to help others and to please them and to be very likable, and do not want to disturb anyone with their own stuff. So they hold it all in, they keep it to themselves, and whenever there's a situation where it's really important that they voice what they need or what they want, or voice that they don't agree with something, they find themselves holding back. And this is what you could call a habit, right? And they suffer from it, and they come to me because they want to change that habit. Now, changing a habit is what goes in stages. You just don't reach at the top all at once. It's not that, and particularly when those habits are deeply ingrained and firmly anchored into their, even not in their unconscious, subconscious, but even deeper in their unconscious, they have practiced and applied that kind of habit for years. So that's very strong part of their, let's say, personality or their way of doing things. Now, the changing of it, and that's what I'm saying, the changing of it is like climbing a mountain. It's actually a very delicate and often very complex, particularly when it is already going on for a long time. What I mean to say is that changing a habit is not something that happens overnight. It's just they come for a session and boom, next day is the goal, right? Okay, so it goes in stages. The first stage in the change of a habit is what I feel greatly underestimated and overlooked. It's the stage of preparation. The best to explain it is, imagine want to, that's your passion, that's your goal, that's what you really want to do, is to climb up the ladder in a circus top and then jump on the high rope and do a little dance. Imagine you would do it. I would take you there and I say, go. You climb up the ladder and you jump on the rope without any training, without knowing how to do it. No development or training, or no development of skills, no nothing. What do you think? When I ask you to do this, are you going to do it? Probably not. Why? Because of fear. Fear of the consequences. Fear of when you do it without. And you know, a part of you knows, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, if I'm now going to do what Dr. Christian is asking me to do, it's probably not going to end up very well, and you don't do it. And it is the same for clients who come to me with the question to change a habit. If I would leave them hanging in the air and say, you know what, we'll just jump in and let's do it, they are probably saying, oh, let me think about it, or I have to talk to my spouse, or whatever excuse they come up with to kind of let me know that they're not going to do it. What is important is to understand that working on changing a habit, the reason why it often brings up so much fear and brings up so much resistance actually is because there is a lack of understanding, there's an ignorance, there's a not knowing how and what or whatever. And that's very understandable. This resistance or this fear is a kind of a very good thing to let you know, don't go there. You're not ready yet. You don't have yet what it takes to do it in a safe and secure way. And that's basically what I was referring to in the beginning opening statement. If you want to climb the Mount Everest, make sure that you pack your suitcase and put the right things in it that are supporting you and helping you to make that happen, you see. So in this stage of preparation, what is the most important thing? And I already mentioned it. It is to make sure, first and foremost, that before diving in to actually doing it, oh, the frog is playing up again, to make sure that you establish the proper circumstances and conditions for yourself to do that particular way, to do that particular work, sacred work as far as I'm concerned, in a safe and secure way. Now let me give you 3 tips that you already can apply right away. That you already can apply right away. That you can already apply right away. This is a bit strange, right? That you can apply right away to create that safety for yourself. First of all, I don't know if you're aware of it, if you ever heard about it, but we do not only have an aura, which by the way is a flexible thing, it can move. Bigger, smaller, bigger, smaller. And we have something that is called our golden egg. Golden egg. It is on the top, it goes there, there's a certain edge, a certain shape like an egg. The pointy top on the top, the pointy edge, and the more broader edge on the bottom, a little bit underneath your feet. And you can very simply activate it quickly. I use it by counting from 3 to 1, step on 1 with my fingers, and deliberately, consciously choose for that space around me to be safe, secure, and if you wish, sacred. So here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1, and feel. And okay, for the first time, it's possible that you don't feel anything, but the more you do it, you start to feel what it does for you when you deliberately, consciously declare that space around you to be safe, secure, and if you wish, to be sacred. Let's tip number one. Tip number two. Yesterday in the coffee table conversation, I mentioned and I asked you, do you believe that there's something going beyond what you can see with your physical eyes and physical hands? And the second question was, assuming that the answer would be yes, what name or how would you label that what goes beyond in such a way that you feel comfortable with? And I gave certain examples, the cosmos, the universe. But for this particular tip, I recommend that you give it an actual name, like what is used in certain religions, like Krishna, Shiva, Allah, Yahweh, God. And for this second tip, use that word you feel comfortable giving, that what goes beyond. Use that as a mantra, as I suggested yesterday, but now using it specifically for you to generate and get a sense of safety, right? And it's not something that I can explain, something that I can hand over to you and so this is. No, it is in the doing that you start to experience and you find out what I actually mean. Okay, so give it a go for the next 7 days. Every day, take a moment to do this with that kind of objective in mind, to create the safety and security for yourself in whatever you do. And then the third tip is I need to look at my notes here. It's funny that I need to look at my notes because it's so obvious and it is something that I work with every day. Imagine that in you there's a child, a young child. It's the younger version of you. You being at the age of, let's say, 6 to 8, and start to speak, start to relate to that child. And you don't have to see it, you don't have to believe what I'm saying, but just simply for, again, a few days in a row, and best would be in the morning when you wake up, talk to that child. And I always like to put my hands on my chest or on my heart center, or maybe on your shoulder. Maybe you caress yourself on your shoulder, imagining that you're caressing the child, and you speak to your child, I'm here for you. You're not alone anymore. I'm here to make sure that you are safe and stay safe. That's now my job. You can relax now. And again, it's not something that I can give you. It's only something that you can give yourself, what the experience of it is doing for you when you do it. When you do it. Okay. So that's it for today. And yeah, my last remark is that these coffee table conversations, I really would like, and I love actually to make this something interactive. So please, if you have a question about what I've just shared, or you have kind of an idea, or, oh, I would like Dr. Christian to speak about this particular thing, drop your remark, your requests, your questions in the comments, and I will take it in and include it in the next one of the next coffee table conversations. Also, when you are in a position that you are at the moment struggling with a particular habit and you feel already comfortable enough to reach out to me and to have a chat about it, I've put my personal email in the description. Please have a look and let me know. Send me an email and we'll set up a time and date that's most convenient for you to talk. All right? Wishing you a wonderful day, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in yet another coffee table conversation. Take care.